Hello everyone, thanks for tuning back in. We're going to continue stripping down this hub and wheel station on the Daimler Ferret here. Now the next step is to get access into the inner tractor housing there, which requires us to remove the spring shock absorber. Now to do this, what we need to do is jack up the top A-arm here to allow us to remove the bump stops on either side, and then we can lower the A-arm down onto its supports here, and that will take all of the compression out of the spring and allow us to remove that safely. So to allow us to jack up that top A-arm, what I'm going to do is to give myself a bit more space. I'm going to remove the pin here from the hub assembly, take the end cap off, drift out the pin in the middle. To do that, I'll have to remove this fixing screw, and then that hub will come free, and it'll just give me a little bit more space to sight a jack underneath the A-arm here. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so let's just remove the grease nipple from the end. Which allows removal of the end cap. And the felt washer that's underneath there. This one is broken, needs to be replaced. Remove the pin there. I've got a brass drift here which I'm going to use to knock this out with. You can see the pin with the hole that the fixing bolt goes into. You can see I've left the end cap and felt washer on the other end. And either side there is an O-ring and a retainer for that O-ring, so they fit in like that, with the flat square side against the hub and the O-ring against the A-arm there. There's the One from the other side, and its O-ring. If these O-rings are broken or damaged, they need to be replaced. So now we can see we've got that hub removed, and while we've got it removed, in a later video I'll go through stripping it down and replacing the oil seals. Okay, just put this to one side. So we can see with the hub removed, you can see the bronze bushes in there with the oil ways to allow the grease to move along through them, keep the joints lubricated. And then this lower A arm, you make sure is right down out of the way. One bump stop removed. The other bump stop removed. Okay, so you can see now I can remove the jack, and that's all the tension taken out of the spring. So we can see now we've got the bump stops removed, so there's nothing preventing the spring from pushing that A-arm down as far as it wants to, and therefore all the tension is out of that spring, and we can safely undo the 6 bolts at the top to undo the top mount and move that spring and shock absorber, and therefore the A-arm, up and out of the way. Probably a key piece of information that I haven't found in any of the manuals yet, so hopefully this will help you out. This is how to undo this bottom joint here for the shock absorber arm. What you have to do is hold the large nut on the outside and undo this small one on the inside. Once that's off, then you'll be able to remove cap and bolt, and the felt washer. It's actually got a welded or fixed boss in the middle by the looks of it. We can see here actually what we've got. So you can see it's actually got a fixed flange in the middle, which prevents you from drifting it out. Okay, So bear that in mind. Okay, so that's that end cap removed. So now we should be able to drive out this pin on the bottom of the shock absorber. Okay, so you can see where I'm drifting this pin out with this brass rod, and you can see the shock absorber pin coming out the other side. Okay, so there's that pin removed. Okay, there is the shock absorber removed. Not gonna lie, it was hard work. Still takes some lifting. So now you can see that inner tractor joint there. All the lovely dirt that it's acquired over the years. Now we've got everything cleaned up a little bit, we should be able to slide this whole housing out. So we'll give that a go. The top pin here can be removed. It stops the inner tractor housing from rotating. And there's another one underneath here which can be taken out, which is really a drain plug, but sometimes taking both those pins out can help you pull that tractor housing out and away. So you can see this little pin just stops the inner tractor housing from rotating. Here we are just removing the bottom pin, which really I think is just there as a drain, but worth taking out the way as well. There is a copper washer on there. I don't know if you can see that. very important not to disturb this serrated ring around the outside here. This stays where it is, and you don't need to undo that, and if you disturb that, then you have to rebuild the bevel box, so leave that well alone. Remove the large O-ring from the outside. Trying to remove the inner tractor housing. You can see just in here the cork seal, and we're just trying to move this housing out. It seems to be very difficult on this particular wheel station to slide this inner housing out. It should be a case of just pulling this whole housing out and it should separate in here. I found on this particular one that if you have the shaft down, then the housing naturally wants to go back in. If you lift the shaft up, it naturally wants to come out. So I think the way to try and remove this is to have the shaft up as high as possible while levering it out on this back edge here. So as I was trying to remove this, I could see that the housing was moving in and out by about this amount. It definitely wasn't stuck on the cork seal. So my thought at this point was really that there was a problem with the tractor joint itself. And after a bit more levering, it kind of popped free. This is just after that moment. You can see at that point it came out fairly easily. The inside of the tractor housing there. You can see the cork seal on the outside. So once it was apart, it became evident, you can see on this picture where the brown sort of stains are on the tractor joint. There was some heat damage. Perhaps the leak had been bad enough in the past for it to run dry for a period of time. That's why it was difficult to get apart. So there's these locating dowels here, and down in the bottom is the hole where the bolts come up through, and same in the top there. So you can see that moves in there. So that's all the stages of disassembly complete. We'll catch up next time to go through rebuilding and installing the different oil seals. Please remember to like and subscribe if you've found this useful.